Hey guys, Drifter here. Today I've got some bad news for you. 2 days ago, a man was murdered over $2. He got swatted, which for those of you that don't know is when somebody calls in a prank call for a hostage situation, a murder, a bomb threat or something, and the SWAT team comes to your house kicking down the door expecting a full-on gunfight. This is going to be one hell of a video, both story-wise and a very personal one too, because I've got some of my own stuff to share. So go ahead and buckle in and get ready for a ride. A couple of days ago, there were some sweaty GB kids that were playing UMG wagers for $2 per match. For those of you that don't know, you can play on the UMG website. It's very similar to game battles, and you can do wagers where you bet $1, $1.50, $2, something like that per match, so that there's a reason for everybody to play seriously, but no real big loss if you lose. Well, as is pretty common in this area and with this type of player or people, one team cheated or lost or got mad or somebody got DDoSed or the decision didn't go the right way or something, and you've got all these angry, sweaty tryhards arguing with each other, yelling back and forth, and this escalated into them threatening each other, which of course then escalated into posting each other's doxes. For those of you that don't know, doxing is when you get on the internet and kind of scour the internet in order to find somebody's home address, phone number, their parents, or something like that. Just some personally identifiable information for you to spread everywhere and create chaos with. Well, another person decided to up the ante once again and take the position of, yeah, okay, that's my dox, I'll fight you IRL. Come at me, bro, let's do this, let's fight, whatever. And in order to make his threat seem real, what he wanted to do was get the other person arrested for like kicking in a random door or something. He posted a fake address that was nearby to his real address so that it would line up with other information and look real. It would be kind of like if I told all of you to just come get me and I posted the address like one block over instead of where I live. It would probably look convincing enough and match with all information so that you would think it was the real deal. And what he wanted, if I'm not mistaken, is for this person that was mad at him to drive over there and ring on the wrong door and try and start a fight with somebody and get arrested. Well, unfortunately, that didn't happen. One of the skid marks decided to contact an infamous swatter and give him this fake address thinking it was the real one, and he wanted him to swat this person, which is to call the local police department and make up some kind of story in order to get his home raided by police. Well, the swatter decided to call the local police department and he pretended that a domestic dispute had gone very, very wrong. The story is a little bit strange, but basically he pretended that his dad was beating his mom and there was a big domestic violence situation, and that he took his dad's pistol and shot his dad in the head. Then he said that he felt bad about it and held his mother and brother hostage in the closet and was not sure if he should kill himself or kill them or burn down the house. And it's pretty awful, but I'm going to go ahead and play some sections of the audio of the actual police call so that you can hear it. Credit to Wichita Eagle for this, by the way. They released the full thing. The link to this website is down below in the description. I think this is the best way to give them credit. But here's a quick edit, short version of the phone call.
This is 911. What's going on?
I recently got disconnected. I had told you guys everything that happened about the argument with my mom and dad.
Okay, tell me exactly what happened.
They were arguing and I shot him in the head and he's not breathing anymore. I'm just pointing the gun at them, making sure they stay in the closet, my mom and my little brother. Yeah, I'm thinking about, because I already poured gasoline all over the house. I might just set it on fire.
Okay, well, we don't need to do that, okay?
In a little bit I might.
Why would you do that?
So the police hear this, and naturally they go into full protection mode, and they rush to the address, and all they know is that there is a teenage boy with a handgun holding a mother and brother hostage in the closet after already killing one person, and he's threatened to burn down the house. Well, the police pull up out front, sirens, guns drawn, blazing, and they point all their guns at the front door, and a random man steps outside, just somebody that has nothing to do with any of this, who's not a gamer, who doesn't play Call of Duty, who has no clue what's going on, all guns pointed at him. And that, if you want to see this video, it's linked on the exact same page that the Wichita Eagle audio was. It's pretty scary, it's more intense, so watch at your own caution. He's got his hands up, everything's fine, but I think he like turns around or makes a funny movement. One of the officers gets twitchy and pops him. He gets shot and dies almost immediately. It's a pretty terrible video. But that was real. It wasn't just a video. It was a real person that literally died. A real, unrelated, random stranger that died via police officer over a $2 wager match on Call of Duty. That's fucked up. I don't usually like cursing on the channel, especially not in a more serious video like this. I try to keep it more PG-13, but there's no better way to say it than that's really, really fucked up. To think that, imagine your situation, imagine you play, most of you are going to be Call of Duty gamers on this channel, but imagine police show up at your house, guns a-blazing, ready to shoot somebody over a Rainbow Six match that's gone wrong. That's just downright crazy. And the question is, who did the actual swatting and who's at fault? I believe the people giving fake addresses are at fault, maybe in a more minor way, they didn't intend for this. I definitely think the person that contacted the swatter in order to initiate swatting is at fault, and of course the swatter himself is at fault. We're going to talk about this person while giving them minimal credit, because the more you credit a criminal, a serial killer, a murderer, abuser, or something like that, it sort of glorifies them. They get a weird cult of personality. So we're going to talk about the actions, but not about the person too much, or talk around them. The swatting was done by the same guy who swatted MLG Dallas, which is an event that I was at that I actually vlogged the second swatting of, and Legion made a penis for the news helicopter when that was flying over. It's the same person that swatted the FCC vote on December 14th. He swatted schools and many, many other people. Krebs on Security, which is another great website, did an article where they managed to contact the person and do a brief interview. In this interview, he said he's a serial swatter, and I'm going to go ahead and read this. Among the recent hoaxes he's taken credit for include a false report of a bomb threat at the U.S. Federal Communications Commission that disrupted a high-profile public meeting on the net neutrality debate. Swatwistic has also claimed responsibility for a hoax and bomb threat that evacuated the Dallas Convention Center, and another bomb threat at a high school in Panama City, Florida, among others. What's kind of crazy to me is that this person has been able to swat so many things without getting caught. You would think if you swatted the FCC that there would be real penalties for that. He called in a bomb threat to the FCC. You would think the FBI would get involved and punish you, but apparently not. The article also goes on and talks a little bit more about the person. This person said he thinks that bomb threats are more fun and cooler than swats, in my opinion, and I should have just stuck to that. But I began making money doing some swatting requests. So this is nice to know that he finds bomb threats more fun than traditional swatting, and that he sells his services on swatting to others. Among other things, he's threatened to swat Zuma, professional player in Call of Duty, Zuma's girlfriend, MLG New Orleans, and many, many more things. Even in an older Keemstar interview, this person said that he doesn't believe he should be charged with murder. The gist of it being the same as this tweet before he took it down. He says, "I didn't get anyone killed because I didn't discharge a weapon, and being a SWAT member isn't my profession." Basically, it's a shifting of the blame. I might have called the SWAT team, but it was the SWAT team that pulled the trigger, so it's their fault and not mine. That's about as much as I'm going to show of his nonsense on here. And that's a hell of a story. That's a crazy, crazy story to think that over literally $2, people try to like one-up each other. I'm very badass on the internet. Give fake addresses, contact a professional swatter, which in my opinion looks like a low-functioning psychopath. And people get killed. Random strangers. It's like drive-by shooting victims that just weren't involved with either gang, which is crazy to me. Some good news, this person did get arrested last night. They're 25 years old, and they've been arrested for swatting before, and they have a history of swatting. So, especially after confessing to swatting the FCC and several other high-profile cases, I imagine they're going to get like the 25 to life in the Supermax or federal prison. Like once you get the FBI involved, when you're swatting the government, calling in bomb threats, that's big boy stuff. So the punishment is going to be very severe. Deep breaths. We're going to change gears here for a little bit. I said this was personal because swatting is something that really scares me. As a YouTuber, I am a public person. I am very recognizable. When I go out in public, people see me, they say hi. It happens not as much as probably like Syndicate or T Martin or, you know, Markiplier or something like that, but I do get PewDiePie, but I do get recognized pretty often. There are things about my life that I literally cannot hide anymore. I can't hide my name. I've had an increasing number of people find my address and send me pictures or vague threats and things like that. And there's some crazy people out there. There are some people that send threats, that want to kill me, that want to do bad things, that want to stalk or whatever. And there's a lot of good stuff with being on YouTube as well. There's a lot of great, fantastic people. I've got a lot of perks. I've made a lot of friends. And I generally like what I'm doing. But there is that like little crazy element, right? Of this crazy element, swatting is literally my #1 fear. It is also the #1 fear of every streamer, YouTuber, or influencer that I know of. Every single person that I've talked to, from Twitch to Mixer to game developers to just like Instagram folks to YouTubers only, are terrified of swatting. If I get swatted, I could die. As this article indicates, I don't really want to die, but I could literally die in a blaze of police officer bullets. I could just get hosed down, and that would be bad. If I get swatted, my wife or brother could die. They could get messed up really, really badly, crippled for life maybe. If I get swatted, my dogs will die. And I'm not saying could die, I mean they will die. SWAT teams pop dogs and other animals that approach them or get in the way. It's just very common. It's standard operating procedure. Any dog can bite. You can trip over a dog and accidentally discharge a weapon. A dog can screw up a controlled situation. If the animal does hardly anything or is anywhere close to you, the dog's going to get shot. This happened to me once when I was a kid. There was a domestic dispute at my house. I'm going to share you several of the details, but the police had to get involved. And when some of my family members were getting arrested, the dog naturally tried to protect the family because they don't know what the hell a police officer is, and tried to bite the police officer, so the cop just shot the dog in the head a few times. And there was no more dog, and that's just it. There's no consequences, there's no punishment. The dog was threatening the cop, and that's just kind of how it goes, because swatting is serious, it's scary. Like, if you're on the SWAT team, you're doing big boy work. If Ozzy gets scared and barks at the SWAT team once, rip. If Boomy walks up to them for pets because he's literally retarded, rest in peace, Boomy. It was nice knowing you. This is a video I'm going to go ahead and play of a 2012 SWAT raid while I talk about this a little bit. Unfortunately, I couldn't fit the channel description in there, channel name, because of the sizing on theater mode, but this is linked down below in the description. It is from a news article, and as far as I'm aware, it was also a video released to the public. But the SWAT team is not here to play nice. They're not here to play games. The SWAT team gets called when there is a serious threat that regular police officers cannot handle, when this could be a do or die situation. And you see these guys are carrying shotguns, they got battering rams, they just threw a flash grenade in the house, they've got an MP5, UMP, M4 carbine, they are ready to rock and roll, and this is not something that I want going on in my house. I sit at my desk all day with headsets on, so I probably wouldn't hear them until the glass broke, until it was way, way too late. I have a big black thing in my hands all the time, and before you start making jokes, I'm talking about a PlayStation controller, and anything in your hand, especially big, black, and gun-shaped, you're gonna get shot. One twitchy cop, one false move, one loud fart from me that sounds like a pop, and I'm dead. Do you know what might even be worse? I sleep with a gun, okay? Not literally like hug it and pet it like a stuffed animal, but within arm's reach. It's very nearby. I also have a gun in my office all the time, and this is going to seem paranoid to many of you, but I get a fair number of death threats and weird threats, and I do have these kind of paranoid thoughts about fans breaking into my home. I actually got broke into once, which was weird. So I am often armed, and I'm a responsible gun owner. I don't treat them like toys or anything, but if I'm sitting here and I hear a loud crash and people running in my house really quickly, the first thing I'm likely to do is panic and reach for my gun. If I turn the corner with gun in hand and I see other people with guns, that could mean dead cops. I could panic and shoot them. I'll 100% be dead because there'll be 8 other cops just hosing me until I look like Swiss cheese. If they scream, you know, police, police, everybody down, DEA, SWAT, FBI, whatever, obviously I'm going to drop my gun. But that's not always the case. Sometimes they do no-knock raids, warrantless raids, undercover. Sometimes they just don't do it. Police in general are very professional, but they all make mistakes, and I don't want to be on that mistake train, either on my end or on their end. And it's just a really scary thought to me that literally while I am recording this video right now, I am subject to getting swatted. While you are listening to this, I'm just as subject to getting swatted. And I've talked to a ton of streamers about this, many of whom have talked to their local police department. Basically, all of them get blown off unless they've been swatted before. I've talked to a few people that have been swatted before, and because the police have come out to the house and it is on record that, yes, they did set up a sort of special protocol. But most people go into the police department and try to explain this, and the police officers don't understand what's going on. They're like, do I need to make a crime report? Is there somebody I need to arrest? What's going on here? I don't get it, you know? They're trying to kind of figure out what's going on, but they're like, oh, so you're trying to get a special police protection for something that could happen in the future from somebody that you've never met, for something I've never heard of, and they just don't care. There's no policy in place for this. There's no widespread awareness for this. So for a lot of people, they're just shit out of luck. And I'm going to go talk to my local police department again soon, and I'm probably going to get blown off again, and that's just how it's going to be, but at least I'm going to try. Another concerning thing is that swatting is also not often thought of as a serious crime by the perpetrators. Most swatters, like the guy we talked about here, view it as just a prank, or maybe an advanced prank, or not really my fault, or just something that's not that big of a deal. And honestly, fuck them. Fuck them right in their ass. I hope this guy gets the absolute maximum penalty, bearing in mind if he is guilty and they didn't accidentally arrest the wrong person because of IP masking, but it does seem probable that they've got the right guy. Swatting, to me, is more dangerous than drunk driving. It's more dangerous than arson. It's more dangerous than negligent discharge of firearms. The goal of swatting is to get somebody arrested or killed or harmed in a very, very extreme way, whereas the other ones are more accidental, incidental, and we've prepared for those. You can't really prepare for how to deal with a SWAT team, and I hope that in the future, swatting becomes a more serious crime. I hope that police departments set up procedures in place to deal with this, and I hope that there's better police investigations for it. One of the reasons that guys like this are able to serial SWAT is because they will commit a crime in a state 5 states away using advanced computer methods or IP masking and proxies and stuff that local police departments just aren't prepared to handle or deal with, or that even sometimes higher like government agencies can struggle with. And it's very, very hard to warrant or justify putting the resources into hunting down a prankster when nobody got hurt and the amount of money required to find this person would be very high, until of course somebody dies. So hopefully we get better at finding swatters. Guys, that is all for this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something useful. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.